Art Rage to create a Frida Kahlo inspired Frida Catlo digital drawing. I'm going to start by opening up Art Rage. I'm going to click the bottom menu button and then I'm going to click Create New Painting. You want to type in your name where it says name, delete what is there, type in your name, and then press Done in the top right hand corner. Now you can see that in Art Rage we have a piece of paper, and if I put two fingers together on the page and I can pinch and zoom in that piece of paper. On the left hand side are all of the different tools. We're going to use the oil pastel tool. I'm going to click the corner to minimize the tool menu. Here you can see where the two gears are. I can change and adjust the size. On the right are all of the colors. It does not matter which color we start with. What you're going to do is go into the middle section where the values are and make it black so we can draw with black to start with. I'm going to take a plastic cup and I'm going to put it on top of my iPad screen, and I'm going to trace just the bottom half of that plastic cup with a stylus so that way we have a nice curve to start our cat portrait. Then I'm going to add flowers above my semicircle. So you're going to draw 3 flowers. I'm going to make 2 that are kind of outlined with a wavy line, and I'm going to put one in the middle that looks more like a spiral. And you can make any kind of flowers you want, just make sure that you draw them nice and big. For this part of the activity, I do have my oil pastel drawing tool on a size 10. I find that if I make it too much bigger than that, it's hard to add those nice details to my art. So do make sure that you have your size set to about a 10. Once you have drawn your 3 or 4 flowers, you are going to add a few leaves around them. If your flowers don't quite stretch all the way across the cat's forehead, make sure you add an extra flower or 2 to fill in that space. Then the ears are going to go behind the flowers. This is a technique called overlapping. So I'm going to hide those ears behind my flowers. Now I am working on the cat's face. First, I'm adding some triangle details around the perimeter of the bottom half of that semicircle for the face. And now I am adding some polka dots for the eyeballs with some eyelashes, the nose, the mouth, and some whiskers. The next step might be the best part, and this is the unibrow. Frida Kahlo is famous for having a unibrow, so our cat is also going to have a unibrow. I'm going to color a bumpy zigzag line over top of the eyes. Do it a couple times to get it just the way you want. That looks good. Now let's add the details for the cat's body. From about the bottom right-hand side and the bottom left-hand side, you're going to add kind of a curvy line straight down. Whichever side has more space is the side that you're going to put the tail, and add those triangle details to that tail. To draw the scarf, I'm going to draw a diagonal line, and then a wavy line, and then another diagonal line connecting back to the shoulder. You can see how the rectangle is kind of coming out from my diagonal from the shoulder. Add the little fringe. Now the second part of the scarf is a little trickier. So I'm going to add a little line going the opposite direction, and then on the bottom part of a rectangle, and you can see how these also overlap. Add the little fringe lines. Take your time, practice a couple times. If you mess up, there is an undo button down at the bottom of your screen that you can press if you decide you want to change something. Now, when we draw the scarf, I'm going to add just a little bit of wiggly lines across it to show the texture of the scarf. Now, these lines I am not connecting to the edge of my scarf. Everything else that we draw, we want to make sure all of the lines connect, because when we get to the coloring part, we're going to use the paint bucket to fill in those colors. And if our lines are not touching, the color will go where we do not want it. Now for the scarf, I am just going to make it one color, so it does not matter if those lines connect. Now I'm going to continue adding more details to my picture. Around the border or the background of my picture, I am going to add just leaves and maybe some flowers to fill in that space to make it look like my Frida Kahlo is in a jungle. So continue working on adding all of the flowers and leaves around the edges of your picture. When you are done adding all of the flowers and leaves around the edges of your picture, we are going to save our work for today. When I am finished for today, I'm going to click that menu button. I'm going to click Save Painting to save my work. Now, since we share these iPads with other students, we're going to go back to the menu button. We're going to click Create New Painting. And we're going to click Done. And we're going to leave a blank piece of white paper on our screen so that way if somebody else opens up ArtRage, they cannot scribble all over our art. When you are finished, turn in your iPad and you are done for today's part of the activity. I'm going to start by clicking ArtRage and opening up the app. I'm going to go to the bottom and open the menu, and then I'm going to click View Gallery. In the gallery is where I will find my saved work of art from the last time we worked on it. Tap it, and then down at the bottom right-hand corner, tap Open. Now I'm going to check to make sure that all of my lines are touching and connecting. If you did not connect the lines when we do today's part of the activity, you will have to stop and go back and fix your lines before you can continue coloring. In the tools bar over here on the left hand side, I'm going to tap it and I'm going to open it up, and at the very top there is a paint bucket. It is almost the very top one. It's the second one in the row. I'm going to use this paint bucket to fill in the color for my picture. Over on the right hand side, I'm going to select a color. If your color is changing but your actual color is not changing, that is because you need to change the dot that is in the middle portion of your color selector, and that would be the value of your color. So on the outside, you will pick the color, and on the middle part, you will choose the value of the color that you want. So you can make that color lighter and darker. And when you want to color in a space, you just tap it and it fills in that space. Again, make sure those lines are touching and connecting or they will not stay where you want them to go. Sometimes it's hard to match up the color that we've already used in the color palette. So a faster way to do it is to use the color finder. This little tool underneath of the paint bucket is going to be your color finder. If you take it and hover over your picture, it'll find whatever color you're on top of. Once you click it, it'll find it over here in the color palette. So now I can go back and I can match the color for the ears to the color of the cat's face because I forgot to fill in that spot earlier. And then I can just pick a different color that I want for the inside part of the cat's ears. Now I'm going to continue adding color everywhere else in my picture. I am going to work carefully, slowly, and neatly. Sometimes when you tap a space, it doesn't fill in all of the parts. It helps if you zoom in, because if you tap the black lines, then all of the black lines will change, and we do not want that. If that happens to you, don't keep tapping it. That's not going to fix it. Use the back arrow, the undo arrow at the bottom of your of the picture to fix it. Press undo to fix it if you accidentally tap all of the black lines and change them to a different color. So now I'm filling in that color that I forgot to fill in, using my color selecting tool to find and match the color for the cat's tail. And then I'm going to continue the process of filling in and coloring my picture. I'm looking at my cat's outfit, and I think I'm going to change the color of that green to a purple. So let's see. That looks good. Oh, a couple little spots there by the scarf I need to fill in. Oh no, all the lines changed. Don't panic. Press undo. There we go. Let's zoom in. Maybe that'll make it easier to fill in that space. Yep, that space was much easier to fill in once I zoomed in with my two fingers. Continue the process of adding color all over your picture. Remember to use a variety of colors. The flower doesn't have to be just one color. It has multiple spaces, so make it multiple colors. It is okay if it is not all the same color. Use a variety. A variety of colors makes your picture more interesting. Even if all of the leaves are green, we'll pick different types of green to color them in with. You can have a lot of different varieties of colors in your art. Take your time, continue working carefully and neatly until you have filled in the entire picture. Once you have filled in the entire picture, then it's time to save our work. Double check to make sure that you have not missed any spots in your picture. And when you are finished, you're going to click on the menu button at the bottom, and then after that, you're going to tap Save Painting. Once you have saved your work, you are finished with your Frida Cato digital drawing. You can put your iPad away and clean up your materials.